AITA for getting a newly married couple kicked out of the apartment? I am 23. Rented an apartment with a guy named Chris. He's not a college student, unlike my previous roommates. Reason I chose to rent with an older guy is because of the situations college students put me in and being irresponsible. Not everyone, but that's my experience. He had a girlfriend at the time that visited 2 to 3 times a week. From what I understand, her family weren't approving of their relationship. One evening Chris came and brought what I thought was his girlfriend, and he told me they just eloped and are now married despite his wife's family's disapproval. She brought a small bag with her. I asked if she was going to live with us. He said yes. I asked if the landlord knew and whether any changes were added to the lease since she's living with us. He said the landlord allowed her to stay till she starts working and pay for rent. I said congrats, then I went to my room. The next day I noticed Chris's strange behavior. He started asking me to eat breakfast outside and let them have privacy, asking that I keep my laundry in my room, asking that I stop bringing certain foods into the kitchen in fridge cause his wife's allergic to them, no more friends over. I was so annoyed, especially after I got called names whenever I entered the apartment because I walked in on them doing it the living room several times. I had to exit the place quickly and they kept me out for like 3 hours once. Chris was livid and said since my parents didn't do a good job at teaching me what is appropriate and what's not, he thought he'd make a list of places I'm not allowed to go in the app during certain times, e.g. not using TV after 12, not using the bathroom after 12, as his wife might be dressed in revealing clothes. Till I talk to him first what time I'm allowed to return to the app and when I'm allowed to use appliances and such. I flipped out and asked him what the F am I paying rent for then? Chris said if I respect myself enough then I'd stick to these new arrangements. Yeah, well, I had enough respect for myself to go talk to my landlord. I told him everything. It turned out he didn't know Chris's wife moved in. He had an argument with Chris and gave him an eviction note to leave the apartment. Chris came back and said he couldn't believe I did this to him. Said he thought we were friends. I remained quiet till his wife came yelling that they're screwed, they don't have money to rent elsewhere and family won't take them. I kept shrugging while Chris was screaming at me asking if I'm happy with a newly married couple being homeless because of what I did. Chris has been guiding me saying I should have talked to him about it. AITA? NTA. You didn't do anything to them. They did it to themselves. Their rules were ridiculous. And you absolutely don't have sex in a living room you share. They were the ones breaking the rules set forth by the landlord in the lease he signed. And he lied to you about it. You are NTA here. But Chris and his wife are. You are absolutely NTA. Chris seems to think that he can dictate the happenings of the apartment 100% when he only pays, presumably, 50% of the rent. He also obviously lied to you, telling you that the landlord said it was okay. Never have I had a landlord, even the most lenient ones, just allow another tenant without adding them into the lease. It's cute he thought you were friends when he so blatantly disrespected you. This is manipulation. They are homeless because of his doing, not yours. NTA. Dude broke the rules, not you. Seriously. Watch your stuff so they don't damage it or the room and cause them to lose the deposit. NTA. He's super creepy and insanely entitled to tell you when you can and cannot be in your own apartment. NTA. I especially like the part where he told you you didn't respect yourself by not following his entitled rules. In actuality, he isn't respecting you as a roommate by making these insane rules. They moved her into the apartment, and while it's only courteous to make some changes for her comfort, it's really on them at the end of the day to accommodate you since you're the original roommate and it's your place too that they've now complicated. NTA. How could this judgment be any clearer? You stuck by the agreement you made with him and he decided to change it heavily in his favor after the fact. His dishonesty with you and the landlord was his own fault. College age or not, there's plenty of shitty people that will take advantage of you. The reason living alone is more expensive is because it's worth it. NTA. Chris sounds like an entitled moron. Nothing to feel guilty about at all. You didn't do anything wrong. Your only mistake was the initial concession to let the wife in without conditions. Hard to see a situation like this coming though. Another curious question. You said Chris isn't a college student and referred to him as an older guy. And that wife's family doesn't approve. What's the age difference between them? Is he close to 40 and she's 22 or some shit like that? Ha 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 ha. NTA. Your roomie got what he deserves. He made bad choices and now has to live with the consequences. Not your problem. Rest easy, friend. You acted appropriately. NTA. A 27-year-old trying to parent and police a 23-year-old is never a good idea. NTA. You did talk to him. He started to treat you as a guest in your apartment. You did the only thing that he left you to do, and his situation is his own fault. NTA at all. You could have lived all together reasonably well if Chris hadn't turned mega on you and started giving you times when you were or weren't allowed into your own home. And as for making whoppy in communal areas of a shared apartment, that's all kinds of wrong. And he tries to guilt you out for walking in on them. What a cheek. Nope. They are the architects of their own downfall. NTA. Chris seems creepy, entitled. NTA. I mean, getting married is cool and all. But basically letting a new person in on the lease with the landlord knowing is a big no-no. Also on top of that, he starts to impose restrictions on you despite going half in on rent and utilities, I assume. NTA. Your roommate tried to change your arrangement without your permission. Of course you didn't just agree to it. If he hadn't been a keen, he wouldn't have been evicted. NTA. Chris and his wife were turning your and his apartment into their apartment, even though you were paying half the rent. Sounds like there's good reasons why no one else will take them in, and not your circus. Not your monkeys. Not gonna lie. I laughed a little bit at the "I thought we were friends" part. It amazes me how he has the gall to say to your face after he basically tried to push you out, but keep you around enough so you can still pay rent. NTA. NTA. He has the nerve to lecture you about appropriate behavior like walking around your apartment? Let's start with don't have sex in the living room when you have roommates. The dude is a self-centered narcissistic control freak. No wonder her family doesn't approve. NTA. It's not your fault he lied. He could have probably gotten away with it if he wasn't trying to be ridiculously controlling. I honestly can't wrap my head around some of the restrictions this guy put on you. NTA.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.